All right, so it turns out that Target has some brand new keto items here for 2022. So we're gonna make this short, sweet. We're gonna go in and see what the heck all the hubbub is about and the new keto items at Target. Okay, this isn't super new, but I wanted to be able to mention it because people always ask about the eggs. Okay, Vital Farms is a great company with really good quality eggs, right? Pasture-raised eggs. Okay, now if you've watched my Costco videos, I'm always just jumping up and down over the fact that they have at Costco these pasture-raised and organic eggs. Well, it looks like Vital Farms caught wind of that, so now they have organic pasture-raised. Now, word to the wise, it does not mean that they're not fed soy. It does not mean that they're not fed corn. It is very difficult unless you get very locally sourced, good quality eggs to find ones that don't have corn and soy. So if you're really going that crazy with it, you probably just need to go local. But I will say these free-range organic eggs from Happy Egg are a much better value. You see $6.99 here, California inflated prices, versus Happy Egg, $5.19 California inflated prices. So definitely go with the Happy Egg in that case, but it is nice to see that we're seeing more of that. The nice thing is, I mean, they just put free range, so free range and pasture raised, essentially the same. You can get into the squirrely details about, you know, how much acreage and how many square feet they have and things like that, but cool new find for 2022 for sure. Okay, now this is the one that I have been super stoked about. So this stuff is called Kevin's. Okay, now I've talked about them once again at Costco, but Target jumping on and really getting with the good stuff. This stuff, although it doesn't say keto, it says paleo on it, this stuff is perfect if you're doing keto or perfect if you're doing any kind of lower carb stuff. First of all, they have, looks like 4 flavors here. They have the Korean barbecue style chicken, they have the cilantro lime chicken, roasted garlic chicken, and Thai style coconut chicken. Okay, all of these are going to have really low net carbs. The Thai style, I love this flavor. This one is, if we look at the label here, we have, let's see, 5 grams of carbohydrates, and there's 15 grams of carbs in this entire thing. But if you look at the ingredients, you find most of those carbs are just coming probably from a little bit of coconut sugar, things like onion, things like that. One of my personal favorites too, just if you really want something that's really quick and easy and nice and low carb, is the cilantro lime chicken. Check out this one, 3 grams of carbohydrates. Okay, so 9 grams of carbs in this whole thing, and you're gonna split this up between a couple of people in your family. So it's pretty darn awesome. So when it comes down to Kevin's, it's cool because it's like the ultimate trifecta. They have super easy when it comes down to preparation. They have simplicity when it comes down to ingredients. And when it comes down to taste, trust me, that is where it really steals the show. The taste is just unreal. The other thing is, like, they all go through these certification things, right? So like, in some cases you have ones that are certified paleo, you have ones that are certified, like, look at this one, certified paleo, right? Certified gluten-free, then you have ones that are certified keto. So they really go the extra mile. And when it comes down to just like healthy food items, they are just really a cut above. I've talked to Kevin personally. They're really a cool company. They're not too far down the road from where I live. And how they run their show is just amazing. So you have to head into Target. You've got to give these a try. I'll also put a link down below. They have sponsored this content, which is awesome. So I'll put a link down below as well if you want to go ahead and check them out. That way you can maybe get it online, or you can also get them through Thrive Market. You can get them through Target. You can get them through Costco. There are a number of different stores. So when you ask me what flavor am I going to get? I'm gonna get the cilantro lime like I talked about, because that's just so easy and convenient, like super easy when it comes down to what my family likes. My son loves that one. And then the Korean barbecue style chicken, this one is super good. It's a little bit sweeter, but still, because it's sweetened with monk fruit, look at, there's only 5 grams of carbs in a serving. Okay, so the sweetness is coming mainly, look at the bottom ingredient there, monk fruit extract. So they're not loading it up with a bunch of sugar, so it really does fit that health profile that we're after. So we got the Korean, forget it, I'm gonna get the roasted garlic chicken too, because this one tastes really good if you're making like some spaghetti squash and you wanna put it over that. I'm just stoked to see this here in 2022. So awesome, Kevin's, link is down below. Otherwise, check them out at Target, Costco, a bunch of other stores. Here's what's funny, is I'm walking down the aisle to go look at some more stuff, and look what I find. I find they have another one that is on sale at Target, stir-fry riced cauliflower, paleo and keto. Okay, this company is taking the world by storm. They also have them on Thrive Market too. But look at the ingredients in this. Okay, we have cauliflower, we have coconut aminos, we have coconut nectar, water, sea salt, carrots, sesame oil, which is an oil I'm a huge fan of. Okay, we've got tapioca starch, ginger, a little bit of coconut sugar, just shiitake mushroom. This stuff is awesome. I'm definitely getting this. This is like, my son loves stir fry. Okay, and then, oh, while I'm here, check this out. Here's a new item that came out. We have this Too Good pumpkin flavor, only 2 grams of sugar, and it's coming from the milk sugar. So here's a new keto item. Take a look at the ingredients here. Just gonna show you. We have reduced fat milk, pumpkin puree, okay, cinnamon, sea salt, lemon juice concentrate, turmeric for color, stevia. See, it's sweetened with stevia, no sugar added in there. So 3 grams of carbohydrates in the whole thing. Okay, 1 cup is only 80 calories, 3 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fat. Talk about an awesome keto find at Target. That is a really cool one. Now, Too Good has been at Target for a while, but this is a flavor that is definitely new. I'm a huge pumpkin fan, so that is awesome to see. So definitely want to check that one out. Well, here's some different stuff. All right, I've talked about Ratio before. Now, Ratio's come out with some new flavors. Now, Ratio is owned by General Mills, so I'm not bagging on General Mills, but it's a lot more like just mainstream, right? So here's what's interesting though. What I don't like about this is I'm not gonna bag too much on the artificial sweeteners. Like, I don't wanna go that route too much, but what I will say is, like, if you're going through this extra effort of adding like avocado oil and all these really good fats in there, why are you sweetening it with sucralose? Like, I don't understand that, because if there's even question about sucralose, why would you put it in there? If you so much, you could easily just put stevia or monk fruit in there. That's what I don't understand, is you're putting avocado oil in there, which is an upmarket oil that costs money, but you're putting sucralose in there. Like, switch it up with stevia. I think they're just going for taste, but I mean, macronutrient wise, that's totally fine on keto. But I just saw this, I know nothing about this one. Let's see, this Chobani Zero Sugar. Let's see, we've got, ooh, wow. Okay, now I'm pretty stoked. So let's take a close look at this. Disregard my close-up of my face here. Okay, we have water, skim milk, allulose, tapioca flour, citrus fiber, concentrate, guar gum, stevia leaf extract, monk fruit. Okay, so you want to know why I like it? I'm definitely trying that. They've got mixed berry and strawberry. I'm going to get one of each of those. I'm a huge allulose fan. I've done a lot of content surrounding the world of allulose, because allulose is interesting because it competes for the same transporter as glucose. So if you have it in conjunction with a little bit of glucose, you can actually make it so that that glucose doesn't absorb into the bloodstream as fast, which is pretty cool because it can have a blood glucose modulating effect, which, if you ask me, is huge. Like, glucose is like the #1 thing you should be managing, whether you're keto or not. So being able to see that is awesome. Okay, so that's a cool find. Definitely stoked on that. Let me just show you something you want to watch out for really quick. Okay, like these cauliflower tortillas, if you're not careful, you could totally get bamboozled. Check it out. These get scary. Okay, cauliflower, but then the next ingredient is non-GMO corn masa, then yeast. So, okay, so then it kind of gets into the normal stuff. Okay, so they have corn in there. It's basically a corn tortilla with a little bit of cauliflower. So these cauliflower, like, I've seen it with their pizza crusts, I've seen it with their tortillas. It feels sneaky. It feels very contrived, and it feels like, I don't know, just, I don't want to say don't trust that brand, because I don't think they're trying to like deceive people, but basically it's a corn tortilla. Okay, so people have actually asked me to take a look at some of these Quest pizzas before, and it looks like they have a few different flavors here. They have meat lovers, they have the, oh, let's just take a look at the meat lovers just so we can get an idea here. And they have the cheese. It's a lot of ingredients though. That's what's a little bit concerning to me. Carbohydrate content. So you look at that, you see, okay, 51 grams of carbs in a whole pizza, but there's 37 grams of fiber. Okay, so you're really only looking at 14 net carbs there. That's really a low carb thing for a whole pizza. So what's going on? Okay, so it looks like it could be, let's see, I'm trying, milk protein isolate, cellulose. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. Let me see. What's really standing out here? Soluble corn fiber, whey protein isolate. Okay, so there's nothing that's like crazy, super scary, but there's just a lot of, yeah, like even the, let's see, the smoked ham is going to be sodium erythorbate, sodium nitrate, yeah, it has nitrites and stuff in it. That alone, like, so the nitrites and the nitrates, I really do try to avoid that. I'm not a big fan of that. So yes, we have 5 grams of net carbs in a serving. So if you're doing dirty keto, I think that it would absolutely be okay, and it would probably work for your macros, but is that really the kind of nutrition you want to be putting in your body? So let's see what else they've got. All right, here we got something. We get these carb balance. Be very cautious with these because look at the ingredients here, but also, okay, so you look at the carbs, you see, okay, there's only 3 grams of actual net carbs, but it's modified wheat starch, whole wheat flour, wheat gluten. One of the things that I really caution people with when you're doing keto is try to keep gluten to a minimum. Okay, gluten is not it's nebulous territory in the world of nutrition, candidly, because some of the research really does indicate that if you have sensitivities, which you may not know of, then gluten could cause a serious issue. The prolamins, the different kind of proteins, the gliadin can cause some kind of gut distress, especially when it comes down to things like leaky gut, or when it comes down to lipopolysaccharides that can leach out through the gut into the bloodstream. The question that I have, or the concern that I have, is with keto, you're really making these nice efforts to modulate inflammation, right, via nuclear factor kappa B inhibition, or at least downregulation, because of ketone bodies. Basically, fancy way of saying ketones really do kind of blunt inflammation. So if you're eating a bunch of foods that are potentially inflammatory, it kind of counteracts that. So I'm not a fan of the gluten. Plus, I've got 2 people in my family that are gluten intolerant, so I really keep a watchful eye on that. So I would just be afraid of that. I would not eat that. Plus, it's just gobbledygook, a lot of weird ingredients. You know, here's something that's not too bad. Okay, I'd say I'd take sunflower butter over peanut butter. So if you're looking for an alternative to peanut butter and you're sick of almond butter, sun butter is pretty darn good. But what I do like is more than anything, okay, we can get upset about seed oils and stuff like that. Sunflower oil, I don't have too much of a heyday making fun of. I don't think it's all that terrible. It's way better than soybean oil. But look at this, is only 2 ingredients: roasted sunflower seeds and salt. So if you're looking for something really wholesome on keto, and also check this out, look at the carb content. 4 grams of carbs, 2 of which are fiber, 2 grams of net carbs. So if you're really serious about the carb content game when you're on keto, you really do want to check that out. I'm actually going to grab one of those. Okay, some people are going to say, oh, it's processed. It's really just sunflower seeds. So I'm okay with that. I don't think it's bad at all. It's not something I would be eating a ton of. And remember, at the end of the day, it's very caloric, so it might kind of sabotage your results if you really enjoy it and eat a bunch of it. Bottom line is, hey, it's a cool find at Target, and they didn't have the no sugar added one before, so it's nice to see that one. Side note, I love ginger tea, so I'm getting a couple of those. Keto or not, that is a very good tea. Okay, then we've got these Birch Benders ones, which are actually pretty darn awesome. It's still, yes, at the end of the day, processed food, and it's still going to be caloric, and we can have that, but relatively new here at Target for 2022. And here's what I like about this one. Although it's still cake, look at the ingredients are pretty straightforward. Okay, we have almond flour, erythritol, coconut flour, cassava starch, sodium acid, pyrophosphate, sodium bicarbonate, which is basically just a leavening system, stevia, and monk fruit. Like, that's it. So, I mean, yeah, you can, bag on it all day and night about certain things, but as far as like a little treat on keto, at least if you make it, you know what's in it, and it's a little bit more controlled. So I actually really like the yellow cake. The ultimate fudge one, this one right here, it just tastes like every other keto chocolate thing. So I'm gonna grab one of these. I actually really like making those for my kids and being able to occasionally have a treat. But then we have this Birch Benders frosting, which 1 gram of net carb for frosting, that's pretty awesome, because usually it's going to be pretty heavily caloric. Now we have palm oil, which some people are not big fans of. Now the thing with palm oil is it's predominantly what is called palmitic acid. Okay, now palmitic acid is an interesting kind of saturated fat, because we do have specific palmitic acids that are in our body. Okay, certain fatty acids are broken down, or ultimately through de novo lipogenesis created into certain kinds of palmitic acid. And palmitoleic acid, very similar, but not the same as palmitic, right? So the bottom line is that I wish it was made with coconut oil, but coconut oil is further on down the line. So we have palm oil, we have erythritol, we have cassava starch, coconut oil, vanilla extract. Pretty easy ingredients. Now you see how we have sustainably sourced with palm oil? That's the biggest beef people have with palm oil, is the sustainability. So once we've kind of scratched that, we don't have to worry about that as much. It really takes away some of the potential barrier. What I will say is, if it was made with coconut oil versus palm oil, I would say it's a better option. But still, overall, for keto, if you need to get your sweet fix, not bad. But remember what I said before, eat the pickles, because if you have that salt, it might curb that sweet craving. Speaking of allulose, pretty cool to see pure allulose being sold now. Didn't see that before, right? So that's pretty new at Target too. Remember, that's probably one of the best keto sweeteners that you could have, simply because it occupies that transporter, okay? So it takes the transporter that's normally carrying glucose out of your intestines into the bloodstream, and it is riding on that bus so the glucose cannot. That is a very powerful tool. This is interesting, I've never seen this. A keto wheat flour blend. So we're really starting to like, yeah, vital wheat gluten, wheat protein, King Arthur unbleached. Yeah, so basically what they're doing is they're trying to, they're basically ripping apart gluten, gliadin, and removing certain components. So you're still getting like the integrity that you would get with wheat gluten as far as baking, but you are making it lower carb. I would say still go with the almond flour. What's going to attract people is, let's see, 30 grams, here's how you look at the label, 30 grams, 110 calories, 15 grams, 90 calories, so 180 calories per cup or serving, like in this, versus 110 calories. So, when you're looking at calories versus calories, this is going to be a lower calorie option, which some would say is better. But I think that you're going to get more nutrition and more overall just keto goodness out of the almond flour still sticking with that. Okay, and then these are somewhat new at Target, but I've covered them in other videos before. Again, if you're doing keto, here's the thing, I'm gonna tell you a story. 10 years ago, or more than that, like closer to 12 actually, when I started doing keto, I had a lot of success, right? I lost 100 pounds. I didn't have a lot of these hyper palatable, super good, tasty, delicious keto foods laying around. For me, it was like, I had the basics. I had like some pork rinds, I had some cheese for snacks, but I didn't really have a lot of the fun stuff that's out there now. What that means is that it was easier for me to eat whole foods, vegetables, all that stuff, and just keep it simple. Easier to lose weight. I think, if you ask me, that it's going to be harder for people now to lose weight because there's going to be all these delicious things, and at the end of the day, thermodynamics and calories are going to matter. So if you start eating, these high-key cookies, which are delicious, but a bag has 260 calories, and I'm telling you, there's not much in there. Like, you can hear it. It's like, basically nothing. Okay, so 260 calories, whereas, I don't know, if you were to just have a slice of cheese and have 60 calories and call it a day, probably would have been a better option, and it would have satiated you more, and it wouldn't have wanted you to, encourage you to come back to the well for more because it's sweet. So yes, I think that having these things is phenomenal, but we just have to be careful. So let's take a look at the ingredients though. Let's take a look at the mint chocolate chip here. Almond flour, let's see, erythritol, stevia, monk fruit, buttercream, I like that, coconut oil, cocoa powder, dried egg whites, inulin, some natural flavors, which can be questionable. We've got guar gum, xanthan gum, peppermint oil. Pretty straightforward. I always am cautious. Well, one of the things I do like is that at least they're using butter and cream in there, and they're not using like some other kind of hydrogenated oil, weird stuff like that. The butter and cream really gets a bad rap. You don't want to go overboard on the saturated fats when you're on keto, but I will tell you that the butter and the cream, the conjugated linoleic acid in there, has been demonstrated to be pretty good when it comes down to fat loss, when it comes down to weight loss. It's a powerful little mechanism, how it works in the body in terms of activating multiple different pathways that could be beneficial for fat loss. So I think that CLA, again, conjugated linoleic acid that's in high-fat dairy, has some benefits. Does that mean that you want to be loading up on cream and loading up on dairy all the time? No, not necessarily, but it's better than seeing like hydrogenated soybean oil. Okay, so now we have a couple of keto bars that I've never seen. Actually, I have seen the Think Keto bar before. I think I really ripped them apart, to be honest, if I recall. So we have peanuts, erythritol, whey protein isolate, milk, cocoa, unsweetened chocolate, chicory root fiber, milk protein isolate, palm butter, butterfat, salt, soy lecithin. It's actually not terrible, but what I don't like is you have whey protein isolate, which is such a good quality whey protein, and then you have like also this milk protein isolate, which is just a lower quality. But overall, it's not too bad. I would go for one that's not peanut butter. I would go maybe for the chocolate chip cookie dough or something. Let's see, vegetable fat blend, palm kernel oil, palm oil, not sustainable, and peanut oil. That's a terrible fats blend. Protein blend, milk protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, It's amazing the difference you can see between different just flavors, right? So this peanut one, even though peanuts are in it, which I'm not the biggest fan of peanuts, but I'm not opposed to them. You compare that to the chocolate peanut butter cookie dough, and this has like a vegetable oil blend that's just garbage. So it's amazing, even between flavors, it can be a huge difference. Now, what about these? Because I really like Luna bars. I feel like Luna really does a good job of keeping it very simple. But let's see what their keto ones are like. Luna Keto Brownie. Let's try this one. Oh, that's a long ingredient list. This could be sketchy. Let's see. Okay, we have organic cassava fiber. Not bad. Organic almond flour, not bad. Dates, okay, hardly going to be keto, but organic soy protein concentrate, not even isolate, so you're just taking pure soy. Organic soy flour, unsweetened chocolate, sugar-free chips, unsweetened chocolate, erythritol cocoa butter, sunflower lecithin, stevia extract, erythritol, high oleic sunflower oil. High oleic is fine. That just means that they've concentrated the oleic acid out of the sunflower oil. Organic virgin coconut oil, I do like that. We've got, and it's not refined, alkalized cocoa, baking salt, soy lecithin. So there's a lot of soy stuff in this. I do like the cassava fiber, but I think you're going to get probably a little bit of a gut ache with this because that's, let's see, you got 19 grams of carbs, 11 of which is fiber, mainly coming from like a resistant starch kind of thing with cassava. So the way that works is cassava kind of avoids digestion. It's interesting. It's what's called a resistant starch, which means it's resistant to certain breakdown. Sometimes it's through amylase inhibition, different enzyme inhibition. But in the case of resistant starches, they are just a type of starch that doesn't really get broken down. We lack the enzymes to break them down. So what that means is it sits in our gut and it ferments, which can be actually a very, very good thing. Actually a very good thing for our gut. The problem is that it can cause some bloating and it can be uncomfortable. So when the first ingredient is that, you know, I mean, the good news is you'll be satiated, but I don't like all the soy product and all the processed stuff that's in that, so yeah. So that about wraps it up for what we found at Target. So a few really cool new items. They've got the Kevin's, which is awesome to see. We've got that Too Good yogurt. We've got that new Chobani yogurt. We've got some really cool stuff. We got that Birch Benders. We got that sunflower butter. Some really cool items for 2022. And hopefully now you know a little bit more about what to look for on the label when you're shopping keto at Target. And don't forget to check out Kevin's down below in the description if you want to get them through Thrive or if you want to get them somewhere else outside of just the regular grocery stores like Target. As always, keep it locked here, and I'll see you tomorrow.